What's going on? So I want to talk more about the Flux Adapt runners. I made an initial impressions video and I have more experience with this shoe now. I just got back from 6 weeks in Vietnam. So I walked around Ho Chi Minh City in these. I walked around Da Nang a little bit in these, Vung Tau. I rode in the plane in these shoes on both occasions. So I spent 20 hours on an airplane using them in the airports, etc. And I want to give a little bit more of my thoughts on them. So for starters, there's no real wear. Upper looks great. Sole looks pretty good. There's a slight bit of heel wear right there, but it's just my gait. That's a me problem. So I did take the insole out. They pride themselves on this like little hexagon technology where it's supposed to stimulate your foot or whatever. And I don't know. I don't necessarily think I believe in that. I think it's kind of a gimmick. I think that I don't know. I think it's a gimmick. I took the insoles out because these are a 26-ish millimeter stack height with the insole. And I feel like, so I'm used to Ultra Escalantes when I'm not wearing these. And that's a good shoe. And I was considering buying a pair of Ultras again, specifically the Escalante 4 before I picked these up. But I wanted something with more rubber on the contact points. And so this seemed like a good option to try because I got them for a good deal. So, and they looked similar in terms of thickness and everything. So I want to give them an honest try. I just feel more grounded without the insole in. I feel when I wear shoes that are over probably about 23, 24 mil in stack height, I start just feeling vague in where I set my feet, and it's not necessarily a good feeling. You don't get really any ground feedback or sensation. So I'm not someone that's super purist with minimalist shoes where I have to only wear 5 millimeters. I can wear a shoe that's a little bit thicker, but after about 24, 25 mils, it gets to be a bit much. Now that being said, honestly, I do prefer the Ultra Escalante 4 for performance. My biggest gripe with this shoe, and I will say this is a good day-to-day shoe. I like them for walking. They've held up so far and been durable, but I wouldn't run in these. Okay, I wouldn't run in these. You see this upper, there's no tongue. And while it's comfortable, you can slip it on. You know, it's a little Yeezy-like or something in some ways. The problem is there's not a lot of lateral stability in this. So your foot can kind of move around. And the material stretches some. So for me, that and the sole is pretty firm. This rubber is pretty firm. It's just not as good of a shoe for performance, especially not anything with agility. This is more a casual day-to-day, or if you're gonna go in and do like a casual gym session, walking around, perfect. Running errands, perfect. If you're gonna go do some incline bench press, perfect. I wouldn't squat in them, and I wouldn't do any kind of agility or serious running. I'm not saying you can't run in it, but there's shoes better suited for that for me. And I'm not even much of a runner, but like with sprinting or something, you're just, your foot's gonna shift around too much. It's just not gonna be predictable. And I was just gonna say that Ultra Escalante, in my opinion, does a better job at it. But the only problem I have with that shoe is the sole is just not durable at all. And yeah, the sole is just not durable on Ultras. And I think they've gotten worse over the years with that since they were, I think, acquired by the Vanity Fair Corp. But anyway, back to this shoe. It's a good all-around shoe for walking, for running errands. Maybe, especially if you have a job in retail, you're on your feet or so, you may want to look into these because it's a good option if you just want that wide toe box with not a lot of support, but you want something that's, again, it's not super, close to the ground. It gives you a little bit of cushion, but Still has some of those attributes of a healthy shoe. Wide toe box, zero drop. Although I will say this shoe has a kind of notable toe spring. They don't. I don't know if it's an illusion, but when I wear these with the insole, they feel almost like there is a slight drop, and I don't know. It's just weird. Like I feel my center of gravity just feels off. They feel way nicer to me with no insole. So that's just me, maybe. I don't know, but regardless, it's a good all-around option just for a casual sneaker to wear out. You know, if you're gonna go to the park or do something. This is kind of a more good, like, general use shoe that's not really great at any one thing. I wouldn't use these for, like, you know, hiking. I wouldn't use these for serious running. But if you needed just an all-around kind of casual shoe where you could run a little bit in them if you want to, short run, you know, if you had these on and you did want to go on a very mild hike through a fairly manicured park, you could definitely do that. You could definitely wear something like that for the use if you wanted to, but it wouldn't be my first choice for something of that nature. So it's a good all-around shoe. I would say if you get them on sale, even better. They're about $140 brand new, which to me is a little steep, but I paid, I think, about $60 for that pair, so they were like 57 or so if I remember correctly on eBay. There's a few sellers that sell these. I'm guessing they get rid of their returns, and there's a few sellers that actually have them at a pretty fair price. They're basically brand new. Somebody tried them on and returned them, and you can get them at, you know, half cost. So in my opinion, in that case, it's worth it. I'm not saying they're not worth it full price, but it just depends on what you're looking for in a shoe. There are some other options out there. And in full transparency, I'm probably going to pick up another pair of Ultra Escalante 4s. Even with the durability concern, they just, for something I can wear like rucking and walking and light running and even sprinting, even though it's not great for that, it works. I just haven't found anything yet that kind of beats it if you want a little bit more cushion. So all in all, fair shoe. I would recommend them. I just personally would try and get them on sale if you can. So that's my 2 cents. That's after 6 weeks. Well, more like, I guess, if you count before I left, it's more like 7.5 weeks of use. So I think they're pretty decent overall. Later.